Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Galactic Council's premier research vessel, the Stellar Horizon, watching distant stars shimmer through the reinforced viewport. What caught her attention wasn't the spectacular view, it was the smell. A peculiar scent, like burnt coffee mixed with something metallic, had been growing stronger over the past hour. Chief Science Officer Zixtal. She called out to her superior, a tall, crystalline being whose translucent body refracted light in mesmerizing patterns. There's something unusual about Sector 47 Alpha. The crystalline alien turned their sensory arrays toward her, the equivalent of raising an eyebrow. Our instruments detect nothing anomalous in that region, Dr. Chen. Are you certain? Sarah had learned to trust her nose over the past 5 years working with the Galactic Council. Humans might be newcomers to the interstellar community, but their olfactory capabilities had quickly proved remarkable among known species. The scent pattern matches the Kelvin-Ross phenomena we documented last month, she explained, pulling up holographic data with a gesture. But there's an additional component I haven't encountered before. Before Zixtal could respond, the ship's alarms blared. Emergency containment fields snapped into place as sensors finally detected what Sarah had been smelling, a massive quantum fluctuation threatening to tear open the fabric of space-time. All hands, braced for emergency maneuvers. Captain Eshra's voice echoed through the ship's communication system. The Stellar Horizon's engines roared to life, pushing the vessel away from the developing anomaly. Sarah worked quickly with the science team, correlating her olfactory observations with the incoming sensor data. The burnt coffee scent had been the quantum fluctuation's precursor, while the metallic note indicated an unprecedented level of subspace instability. Fascinating. Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with excitement as they reviewed the data. Your species' ability to detect these phenomena before our most advanced sensors. It's revolutionary. Hours later, in the ship's conference room, Sarah faced the assembled Galactic Council representatives. The holographic displays showed the quantum anomaly, now safely contained thanks to their early warning. This marks the third instance where human olfactory capabilities have detected cosmic phenomena before our conventional sensors, Sarah explained. We believe this ability evolved due to Earth's unique atmospheric composition and the presence of various volatile organic compounds throughout our planet's history. The council members murmured among themselves, their various forms, crystalline, gaseous, and even purely energetic, showing signs of both excitement and concern. Dr. Chen, spoke Counselor Ven, a being of pure energy contained within a specialized field. Your discovery suggests humans might be uniquely suited for early warning systems across our territories. However, it also raises questions about the nature of these anomalies. Why are they becoming more frequent? Sarah had been pondering the same question. The burnt coffee scent had become increasingly common in certain sectors of space, often accompanied by other unusual olfactory signatures. We have a theory, she replied, bringing up a new set of holographic models. These quantum fluctuations appear to be aftershocks of something larger, something that's approaching our region of space. The conference room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's primitive sense of smell might have just detected the earliest signs of a phenomenon that could reshape their understanding of the universe or threaten their existence within it. Captain Ashura, a towering figure with iridescent scales, stepped forward. Dr. Chen, I'm authorizing the formation of a specialized research division under your leadership. We need to understand what's coming and prepare accordingly. Sarah nodded, her mind already racing with possibilities. The scents she'd been detecting were becoming more complex, telling a story that their most advanced sensors couldn't yet read. Whatever was approaching, humanity's unique contribution to galactic science might be their best hope of understanding it. As the meeting concluded, Sarah returned to the observation deck. The stars seemed different now, knowing what she could smell in the spaces between them. Humanity had joined the galactic community expecting to be awed by alien technologies and knowledge. Instead, they had discovered that their most primitive sense might be their most valuable contribution to the stars. The burnt coffee scent lingered, stronger now, mixing with new notes that reminded her of ozone and something sweet she couldn't quite identify. Whatever was coming, they would face it together. Humans and aliens united by the unexpected bridge of a human nose. Sarah smiled, remembering how her colleagues had once laughed at her insistence on cataloging space's various smells. Now those careful observations formed the foundation of a new branch of xenoscience. Sometimes the most significant breakthroughs came not from the most advanced technology, but from trusting our most basic senses. She opened her personal log and began recording. Day 1825 aboard the Stellar Horizon. The universe, it turns out, has a smell. And it's trying to tell us something important. We just have to learn how to listen with our noses. 3 months after the quantum anomaly incident, the Stellar Horizon had become a hub of unprecedented scientific collaboration. Dr. Sarah Chen's laboratory now housed researchers from 17 different species, all working to understand the mysterious phenomena she could smell approaching through space. The sweet metallic scent had grown stronger, appearing in more sectors across the galaxy. Other human scientists, recruited from Earth's top research institutions, confirmed her findings. Each described the smell slightly differently. Some said it was like lightning in a jar. Others compared it to the moment before a storm breaks. But they all agreed on one thing. Something vast was moving through subspace, leaving ripples of quantum disturbance in its wake. The latest readings are troubling, Sarah announced to her team, manipulating a holographic display of affected sectors. Red markers indicated where the scent had been detected, forming a clear pattern of movement. Whatever it is, it's not random. These disturbances are following a trajectory. Zixtal's crystalline form shimmered with concern as they analyzed the data. The pattern suggests intelligence, but how could anything survive in subspace? Before Sarah could respond, a new scent hit her, sharp and acrid, like burning plastic mixed with ammonia. Her hand instinctively flew to the emergency alert panel. "Everyone out. Now," she shouted, already moving to seal the laboratory. The other humans in the room reacted instantly to her tone, pulling their alien colleagues toward the exits. The evacuation finished just as the first sensor alarms began to sound. Through the laboratory's viewport, Sarah watched in horror as space itself seemed to tear open. The quantum fluctuation was unlike anything they'd encountered before, a massive tear in reality that pulsed with otherworldly energy. "Dr. Chen," Captain Eshra's voice came through the ship's comm system. "We're detecting similar ruptures across 3 sectors. What are we dealing with?" Sarah studied the readings flooding her tablet, correlating them with the complex mixture of scents she could detect. "Captain, these aren't natural phenomena. They're being created deliberately. I think they're doors." As if in response to her words, something emerged from the nearest rupture. It defied conventional physics, its form shifting between states of matter like a fever dream. But what struck Sarah most was its smell. Exactly like the sweet, metallic scent they'd been tracking, but 1,000 times stronger. "Attention unknown entities," Captain Eshra broadcast on all frequencies. "This is the Galactic Council research vessel Stellar Horizon. We seek peaceful contact." The response came not in words or conventional signals, but in a series of quantum fluctuations that made Sarah's nose burn. She worked frantically with her team, comparing the patterns to their database of known phenomena. "Captain," she called out, "they're trying to communicate through controlled quantum events. These beings, they exist partially in subspace. That's why we could smell them coming before we could see them." The next hours were a blur of activity as the science team worked to establish basic communication with the entities. Sarah's ability to detect subtle changes in the quantum signatures proved crucial, allowing her to identify patterns that the ship's sensors missed. "They're refugees," she finally announced, after a breakthrough in their quantum linguistic analysis. "Their home, realm, dimension, whatever you want to call it, it's collapsing. They've been searching for a stable universe to migrate to." The implications were staggering. Not only had they made contact with extra-dimensional beings, but they were facing a potential refugee crisis on a cosmic scale. The Galactic Council would need to decide quickly how to respond. "There's more," Sarah continued, her expression grave. "The process they use to cross between dimensions. It's causing damage to our space-time. Small tears now, but if millions of them try to cross over." She didn't need to finish the thought. Everyone present understood the devastating implications for their universe's stability. Captain HFY turned their iridescent scales toward the viewport, where more of the dimensional refugees were emerging. "Then we need to find another way. Dr. Chen, you and your team have proven that sometimes the most primitive sensory abilities can unlock the greatest discoveries. Perhaps they can also help us find a solution." Sarah nodded, already formulating ideas. The complex quantum signatures she could smell suggested possibilities, ways they might be able to stabilize the crossing points, or even create designated migration corridors that wouldn't threaten the fabric of space-time. As she worked, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. Humanity had dreamed of making first contact with advanced alien civilizations, imagining beings of pure energy or unimaginable technology. Instead, their most significant contribution to galactic civilization had come through their sense of smell, a reminder that even in the age of faster-than-light travel and quantum computing, sometimes the oldest tools were still the best. The sweet metallic scent of the dimensional refugees filled the ship, mixing with the sharp tang of torn space-time. Sarah knew they were racing against time to find a solution. But as she watched humans and aliens working side by side, combining ancient senses with advanced technology, she felt hope. They would find a way. They had to. The Stellar Horizons Engineering Bay had been transformed into an impromptu interdimensional research center. Dr. Sarah Chen stood amidst a forest of holographic displays, each showing different aspects of the quantum rifts now appearing across 3 sectors of space. The sweet metallic scent of the dimensional refugees had become a constant presence, though she was learning to detect subtle variations that indicated their emotional states. "The quantum signature stabilizes when they're calm," she explained to the assembled team of human and alien scientists. "But fear or distress causes fluctuations that tear at the space-time fabric." She manipulated a hologram showing the correlation between emotional states and spatial stability. Zixtal's crystalline form pulsed with realization. "If we could help them maintain a stable emotional state during transit." "Exactly," Sarah nodded. "But we need more than that. We need a way to create stable crossing points. Designated areas where the barrier between dimensions is naturally thinner." The research team had been working around the clock, combining human olfactory observations with advanced alien technology. They'd made progress, but time was running out. More refugees arrived each day, and the damage to space-time was accumulating. A junior human scientist, Dr. Marcus Wong, rushed into the lab. "Dr. Chen, I think I've found something." He pulled up a new holographic display showing an unusual region of space. "There's a cluster of natural quantum anomalies in Sector 89. The scent there, it's different." Sarah moved to his station, inhaling deeply as she studied the sensor readings. The smell was familiar yet distinct, like the refugees' scent, but softer, more stable. "It's like the difference between lightning and static electricity," she mused. The discovery proved crucial. The natural anomalies in Sector 89 were similar to the refugees' transit points, but occurred without damaging space-time. If they could understand why, they might be able to replicate the effect. Captain HFY authorized an immediate expedition to the sector. As the stellar horizon approached the anomaly cluster, Sarah's nose picked up something new, a harmonious blend of scents that reminded her of a perfectly tuned orchestra. "The quantum fields here are naturally synchronized," Zixtal observed, their crystalline form refracting the light of distant stars. "It's as if space-time itself is more flexible in this region." Working with the refugees' representatives, who communicated through controlled quantum fluctuations that Sarah had learned to interpret by smell, they began to understand. These natural crossing points were like cosmic bridges, places where the walls between dimensions were permeable but stable. "We can use these as templates," Sarah explained to the Galactic Council in an emergency session. "Create a network of stable transit points based on the natural harmonics we've discovered. The refugees can cross safely, without damaging our universe." The implementation wasn't easy. It required precise coordination between human sensory observers, alien technology, and the refugees themselves. Sarah worked tirelessly, training other humans to recognize the subtle scent differences that indicated a successful harmonic alignment. The first test came sooner than expected. A massive wave of refugees appeared at the edge of their sector, fleeing the accelerating collapse of their home dimension. The network of stabilized crossing points wasn't complete, but they had no choice but to attempt evacuation. Sarah stood at her station on the stellar horizons bridge, her nose burning from the intensity of quantum signatures filling space around them. "Guide them to the harmonized points," she directed, watching as the refugee ships adjusted their approach vectors. The next hours were tense. Each crossing had to be perfectly timed, the quantum harmonics maintained with precision. Human observers stationed throughout the evacuation fleet provided constant updates, their unique sensory abilities proving invaluable in maintaining stability. When the last refugee ship crossed safely through, a cheer went up across the stellar horizon. The network had held. Space-time remained intact. They had done it. "Remarkable," Captain Escher said, their scales shimmering with pride. "When humanity joined the Galactic Council, some questioned what you could contribute. I doubt anyone anticipated this." Sarah smiled, watching the holographic displays showing the refugees safely settling into designated regions of normal space. The sweet, metallic scent was fading, replaced by something new, a fresh, clean smell that reminded her of morning dew. "Sometimes the simplest things prove most important," she replied. "We thought we needed to overcome our biological limitations to reach the stars. Instead, we found that those very limitations, what we thought of as primitive traits, were exactly what the galaxy needed." The success with the dimensional refugees changed everything. The Galactic Council established a permanent human sensory core, recognizing that humanity's unique abilities could serve as an early warning system for all manner of cosmic phenomena. Research vessels would now carry human observers as standard procedure, their noses providing an extra layer of security in the vast unknown of space. As Sarah prepared her final report on the refugee crisis, she reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had dreamed of proving itself among the stars, imagining great technological achievements or military victories. Instead, they had proven themselves through one of their most basic senses, and in doing so, had helped save not just one species, but an entire civilization of dimensional refugees. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor. And thanks to humanity's unique contribution, they could now smell it coming. 1 year after the dimensional refugee crisis, the Galactic Council's Central Research Station had become a testament to the power of unexpected solutions. Dr. Sarah Chen walked through its newly constructed Quantum Harmonics Wing, where humans and aliens worked side by side monitoring the network of stable crossing points they had established throughout the galaxy. The sweet metallic scent of dimensional transitions had become familiar now, a regular part of life as their universe adapted to hosting refugees from across the dimensional barrier. But today, Sarah detected something different, a new undertone that reminded her of roses and starlight. "You smell it too?" Dr. Marcus Wong asked, looking up from his monitoring station. Other human observers around the room were already making notes, their noses twitching as they analyzed the new scent. "It's coming from the refugee settlement in Sector 89, Sarah confirmed, pulling up the relevant data. The holographic display showed unusual patterns in the quantum field surrounding the settlement. Nothing dangerous, but definitely unprecedented. Zixtel, who had transferred with Sarah to the research station, approached with their characteristic crystalline shimmer. "The refugees have been experimenting," they explained, "combining their understanding of dimensional physics with our technology. They call it quantum architecture." The revelation sparked a new wave of collaboration. The dimensional refugees, it turned out, had brought more than just their need for sanctuary. They possessed an intuitive understanding of quantum mechanics that surpassed anything known in our universe. Combined with human sensory abilities and alien technology, it opened up possibilities that had once seemed like pure science fiction. Sarah found herself at the center of these developments, working with a team that spanned 3 universes worth of species. The refugees taught them how to fold space in ways that their mathematics had suggested were possible, but had never been achieved. Humans provided the sensory feedback needed to maintain stability during these experiments, while the various alien species contributed their unique technological and scientific expertise. Watch this. A refugee physicist named Zurl demonstrated, using their quantum manipulation abilities to create a small pocket of altered spacetime. To most observers, nothing seemed to happen, but Sarah's nose picked up a distinct pattern, like layers of scent folding in on themselves. "It's a dimensional pocket," she explained to the watching scientists. "Bigger on the inside than the outside, but completely stable. The quantum harmonics are perfect." The implications for space travel, storage, and habitat construction were staggering. The breakthrough led to the development of new technologies that combined all 3 civilizations' strengths. Quantum architecture became a new field of study, with humans serving as the essential bridge between theoretical understanding and practical application. Their ability to smell quantum states proved crucial in maintaining the delicate balances required. But perhaps more important than the technological advances were the cultural ones. The refugee crisis had forced the galaxy's civilizations to question their assumptions about progress and capability. The most sophisticated sensors couldn't match what a human nose could detect, while the refugees' intuitive grasp of quantum mechanics made traditional physics look primitive. "We were so focused on advancing beyond our biological limitations," Sarah mused during a presentation to a new group of human recruits. "We never considered that those very limitations might be exactly what we needed." The Galactic Council had undergone its own evolution. The success of the refugee integration led to a complete restructuring of how they evaluated species for membership. Instead of measuring technological advancement, they now looked for unique capabilities that could contribute to the greater whole. One afternoon, Sarah stood with Captain Ishira, now Admiral Ishira, observing a training session where human sensory experts worked with refugee quantum architects to create new types of space stations. "Did you ever imagine this?" Ishira asked, their scales reflecting the shimmer of quantum manipulation in progress. "When you first detected that burnt coffee smell?" Sarah shook her head, watching as a trainee correctly identified a quantum harmonic misalignment by scent alone. "I thought we were detecting a threat. Instead, we found a future we couldn't have imagined." The roses and starlight scent had become stronger over the months, spreading through refugee settlements across the galaxy. The refugees explained that it was the smell of their people healing, of hope being reborn in a new universe. To Sarah, it was the scent of possibility, a reminder that the most powerful solutions often came from embracing what made each species unique. As she prepared for another day of research and discovery, Sarah reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not by becoming more like other species, but by embracing what made them different. Their primitive sense of smell had opened doors to new dimensions, both literally and figuratively. The universe, they had learned, was far stranger and more wonderful than anyone had imagined. And thanks to an unlikely combination of human noses, alien technology, and refugee quantum physics, they were finally beginning to understand just how vast the possibilities really were. 5 years after the first dimensional refugees arrived, the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. From her office in the newly constructed Multiverse Studies Institute, Dr. Sarah Chen could smell the future taking shape. The institute itself was a testament to how far they'd come. A massive structure built using quantum architecture, its interior spaces folding through multiple dimensions, while maintaining perfect stability. Human observers worked at every level, their noses providing the constant sensory feedback needed to maintain the complex quantum harmonics that kept it all running. "Ready for the graduation ceremony?" Dr. Marcus Wong asked, appearing at her door. Today marked the completion of training for the first class of what they now called quantum sommeliers, humans specially trained to detect and interpret the subtlest variations in dimensional sense. "Almost," Sarah replied, taking a final deep breath. The air was rich with quantum signatures, the sweet metallic scent of refugee physics, the rose and starlight smell of their settlements, and dozens of other subtle notes that only human noses could detect. "Did you ever think we'd end up here?" The ceremony itself was a remarkable sight. In the Institute's Grand Hall, beings from 3 universes gathered to celebrate. The graduating class represented a new generation of human experts, their talents honed through years of training, with both refugee quantum architects and traditional alien scientists. Admiral Ashura, now the head of the Galactic Council's Science Division, gave the keynote address. 5 years ago, we faced what seemed to be an impossible crisis. Today, we celebrate not just its resolution, but the remarkable developments that followed. The combination of human sensory abilities, refugee quantum knowledge, and our own technological expertise has opened doors we never knew existed. Sarah watched with pride as her students demonstrated their abilities, identifying complex quantum states by smell alone. Each graduate wore a special insignia, a stylized human nose overlaid with quantum wave patterns, a symbol that had become respected throughout known space. But the ceremony's highlight came from an unexpected source. A group of refugee quantum architects had prepared a special demonstration. Using their abilities in concert with human observers, they created a visible manifestation of quantum harmonics, a swirling display of light and energy that filled the hall with new scents. "It's a map," Sarah realized, her nose twitching as she interpreted the complex quantum signatures. "A map of the multiverse." The display showed their universe as just one of countless others, connected by threads of quantum resonance. The stable crossing points they'd established glowed like stars, forming a network that stretched beyond their previous understanding. "We've only scratched the surface," Zixtal observed, their crystalline form refracting the quantum light display. "There are more universes out there, more refugees who might need safe passage. Thanks to human sensory abilities, we can find them, help them, learn from them." The implications were staggering. What had begun as a crisis response had evolved into something far greater, a fundamental shift in how their civilization approached the cosmos. The combination of human senses, alien technology, and refugee quantum physics had opened up possibilities that none of them could have achieved alone. After the ceremony, Sarah found herself back in her office, looking out at the quantum-engineered landscape of the Institute's grounds. The air was filled with the sense of possibility, old familiar notes mixing with new ones she was still learning to identify. A message chimed on her computer. The Galactic Council had approved funding for a new initiative, the Multiversal Exploration and Relief Program. They would be sending ships through the stable crossing points, actively seeking other universes in crisis, offering help before it was desperately needed. "Dr. Chen," her computer announced, "your presence is requested in Lab 7. The quantum architects believe they've discovered a new type of dimensional resonance." Sarah smiled, already catching a whiff of something unusual in the air, a scent she'd never encountered before, full of promise and mystery. This was what it meant to be human in the modern galaxy, not just surviving among the stars, but using their most basic traits to push the boundaries of what was possible. As she headed to the lab, she passed a group of new recruits, their eyes wide with wonder as they learned to trust their noses in ways their ancestors never imagined. The future would bring new challenges, new crises, new opportunities, but they would face them together, humans, aliens, and refugees, each contributing their unique abilities to the greater whole. The universe, it turned out, was far more complex than anyone had imagined. But sometimes, all you needed to understand it was a good nose and the courage to trust what it told you. As Sarah liked to tell their students, The most powerful technologies aren't always the newest ones. Sometimes they're the ones we were born with. A new scent caught her attention, something powerful and strange coming from Lab 7. Sarah quickened her pace, her nose already working to analyze the unfamiliar quantum signature. Somewhere out there, another universe was calling, and thanks to humanity's most overlooked sense, they would be ready to answer.